Good morning and welcome back. Now let's talk about matters politics with all 27 days to go. I want us to talk about matters youth, and I have got two youthful leaders in studio. One of them is Mutana, who is UDA Youth Congress. There you have her. She is going to be telling us more to do with youth as far as UDA is concerned. And Juma Muricho, ODM Youth leader affiliated to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, that side of coalition. Lady and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
You said that inside the studio is a bit warmer compared to our outside environment. It's so cold in Nairobi, right?
So cold.
Yes, but I hope you're going to make it hotter with the debate. But let me start with you, Juma. The first debate was aired yesterday. I don't know what's your take in 1 minute.
In 1 minute, I think we are winning Azimio because we've presented a credible leader, a leader who has integrity and who believes in the people and the people's power, as we saw yesterday. I think Igade is taking it early in the morning. And for Sakaja, maybe we will still need to know if his name is actually Sakaja. Yeah.
Okay, and do you consider them youth, so to speak?
They are youthful and energetic.
Right.
And I think they have the interests of youth at heart because, and I'm speaking about Igade, because you see Nairobi is mostly populated by young people because wazee wako nyumbani. So I think whatever they're going to do in Nairobi is going to directly touch on youths. And the agenda of Igade is to ensure that youths and Nairobi is habitable for everyone. Yeah.
All right. Mercy?
I think from yesterday's debate, it is clear that by 8:57, Azimio will not be winning in Nairobi. If it is about credibility, that is quite questionable because as it was defined yesterday well, that integrity comes with, actually credibility would mean you are dependable. And for us, it was well defined that integrity comes with responsibility. And someone who bailed on Nairobi within 6 months, I am not so sure his tenacity or capability or competence to deal with the struggles of this city.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I think we scored at least 8. And the other side, I think I'd give 5 because they were so focused on us. And that's the same thing even with their entire Azimio campaigns. It's always about us, which goes to show that we are the benchmark. We are the people to beat, and we are not going to be beaten.
I'm quite interested to understand the female candidates who also performed. What is your take?
The female candidates vying.
Right.
I think it sets a good precedence because in the national space, we have seen once 1997 Miss Charity Ngilu did try to vie, then 2013 Honorable Martha Karua. So for this capital city, I think it's good to see that, you know, there are at least 3 and at least one notable lady who unfortunately did not clinch the respective party ticket, but yes, it does set a good precedence that women are taking all spaces. Yeah, we saw gubernatorial when we had 3 female governors, then it reduced to 2 when Her Excellency Joyce Laboso, the late, passed away. So I think that Nairobi, the capital, is also seeing female candidates, goes to show that women can vie anywhere, nationally, county government, MCA, all seats are possible, not just the women rep.
Absolutely.
And in Azimio, we don't just talk about women.
Yes.
We give them opportunities. And that's where we have in our manifesto, Azimio la Kina Mama, where we're trying to give women an opportunity directly. And that's why before we could land on our running mate, we had a panel to sit and really check their capabilities. And that's why we have Banda Karua representing women in Azimio as our deputy president.
Okay, still on that, let me just start with you, Juba. What's the place of youth in Azimio la Umoja when you talk about youth and politics with only 27 days to go? And a majority unasikia vijana oye, vijana, so it's about vijana.
Yes.
The first word every politician say is vijana oye. Yes. So what's the youth of vijana as far as this election is concerned?
We need to understand that the future of this country is meant for the youths.
Yes.
And not just youths, even the coming generations. So every leader who wants to serve must at all time remember that the youths have to be taken care of. In Azimio, we have a whole wing in the presidential secretariat,
yes,
that is spearheading the campaign. It's led by the chairperson who sits in that presidential campaign committee, that is Solomon Kuria, among many other youths that have been appointed to be part and parcel of the presidential campaign. And that simply means that they are participating in the campaigns, and they'll also participate in the running of the affairs of the state. The president, through the Minister of ICT, has already appointed several youths, like Faith Nora Lukosi, who was recently appointed to the Youth Enterprise Fund.
Yes.
So we're giving youth spaces to participate in the campaigns. They will also be given spaces in the coming government.
Okay.
And so youths have been taken care of in Azimio, unlike the other wing where they're being promised as we are participating.
I don't think she'll speak for themselves. And Mercy, you've been accused. You've just been promising. But what's the position of youth and their point in UDA?
Well,
and Kenya Kwanza, so to speak.
I think these are two critical groups because not just the youth,
yes,
but also the women. Both are special groups and very critical in campaigns. Majority of campaigns are either being led by youth groups or women groups. They are the most critical. Rarely will you have a lobby group of waze. You know, you just have
so rare.
leaders.
It's so rare. But
yes,
that's
but at the heart of campaigns
right.
is youth, and not just youth. The women play a critical role because women, they move houses, they move households, they determine a lot, you know. Even the youth, even in mobilizing youth, the women are able to and have a voice. So, and even economically, especially with the Chama group. So, in the earlier statement on youth, on women before I get to youth. So for us, we have decided that for both women and youth, they will be where it matters. Because on the Azimio side, if you look at the majority of those youths in that presidential team, a good number were vying. And there are those I know, they were the only candidate we knew of that party. But somehow upon consensus, they were told the ticket is not yours, stay aside. What is most critical? What makes the biggest decision? We saw what happened with nominated women. A good case, Honorable Millicent Omanga, that nominated youths or women can somehow be at the mercy of the party, but when you are elected, you are more empowered, you are more independent, and we saw that with the likes of Honorable Sakaja, Honorable Mutula Kilonzo, when it came to their stand on the revenue sharing bill. So for us, we may not have a female deputy president, and we have seen how much a deputy can be sidelined. We have decided, and we are going to produce the most female gubernatorial winners, and we are going to have half the cabinet women. And I think those control the budgets, those control CDF, those positions control county government funds, and I think functions, money follows functions.
Yes. And
so those high rank, those powerful positions, when youth are fronted, they're able to get tickets. They are not forced out or of nomination process, but allowed to be on the ground. And actually, that's the difference with Kenya Kwanza, that it was decided that those who are willing to vie, let them vie. And as much as we may not have published, like them, a youth presidential team, but we actually have in all areas, county level, presidential team, constituency, all the way to the ward, you will have a youth representative of the area and youth critically taking part. And that is why we could afford, just like the national manifesto that came out from 47, each county, its economic forum, regional forum. That is why we ended up with a youth charter, because at county level, at constituency level, at ward level, at party level, leave just the youth league, the youth congress alone, but at the committees, at even the dispute resolution of the party to hear cases, youth were everywhere.
But I'm quite interested in understanding, because when you looked at the party nominations, people whose names, the list which was forwarded to the IBC, we didn't see any new name there. Some of them were the same politicians who either flopped in the nominations, and was it a matter of party loyalty being rewarded? we didn't see any new faces there or other new names there. But the way she's saying, Juma, it's about the youth taking that position. And when you look at the structure she's talked about, from the national level all the way to the ward level, there is a special place that youths count at the ballot.
You see, as I said earlier on, with them they're dealing with the promises.
Yes.
And whatever she's saying is unverifiable. I don't know why they wouldn't want to publish that they have a youth congress participating in the campaigns, as we did publish. And it's not just at the national level, it's all over, even up to the grassroots level. Youths have been given space to fully participate in these campaigns. And you know, we hold our future in our own hands. We have to decide whom to elect as youths.
Yes.
And we have to elect proper leaders who are going to represent our interests. That is happening, and that's what we are doing as a youth wing, to really get out youths to come and vote. That's where it starts. And again, the spaces about, she talked about youths being forced out of the races. I think at the national level, the faces I see, none of them was running. Maybe Alex Matere was running at some point, but he wasn't forced out. It was his own deliberate intention. It's not a must that we have to all be elected as youths to be able to advocate for our interests. We can actually advocate for our interests in other spaces that will be given by the government.
But where does it matter?
And as you can see, he's a member of our board where we're sitting today. And he's able to advance the interest of the youths where he sits. So youths have to come out and vote. That's where it starts. And vote for good leaders. It doesn't mean that you must vote for a youth. It doesn't mean that you must vote for a youth for that youth to stand and defend.
But that's the whole essence of having youth leaders in those positions.
The thing like the gender bill has never passed. Why? Where are the numbers of the women? If we want our youth bills, for example, why are we not having, and if you look at the various appointments, especially various appointments, have they met the 30% threshold? You see, at least in business, it has been passed that 30% of business should go to youth, women, and PWDs. But where is that law that will bind? You know,
I should be asking you the same question, because now you belong to the Youth Congress for all these two
now I'm parties. Going back to the parliamentary house.
Yes.
Because the youth don't have the numbers. What is the percent of youth in the parliament? It is not yet at 30%. It is somewhere around 19 to 21. So it's way below. So you will not be able to have the numbers. Just like the political, we saw the issue of numbers in the political parties.
Yes.
Numbers matter in the house. And because the youths, male and female, even when we put them all together, even KYPA tries to even make it under 40 instead of under 35. When we put them all together, they still don't make 30% of the house. And that is why, to be able to pass a legislation that is that strong and you know, punitive or binding, that no matter which side wins, no matter who is in office, whichever the governor, whichever the cooperative, the parastate or etc., that 30% of the position, not just 1-2 notables, you know, but a whole of every opportunity, 30% is to youth. It has not yet passed because youth don't yet have the numbers.
That's the question,
just
because
like
the way Juma said, you know what, elected position is a competitive position.
Yes.
So who to blame? If we don't reach that 30% threshold in the National Assembly, so who do we blame?
And it's the youth, and that's why we've taken it upon ourselves as youths to participate in these campaigns itself, so that we ensure that those youths who've been given the tickets to run within Azimio are going to win. And there are so many, both at county levels and even at the National Assembly level. And we are taking deliberate intentions as youths within Azimio to really campaign for those youths who've been given a chance to run. And actually, even visiting their places where they are running to ensure that youths have space, so that after this election, we'll have so many representatives in all aspects, both elective and appointive.
But do you really understand that politics is competitive?
It's competitive. It's competitive, and that's why we have to fight.
Right.
We have to fight for these positions. And even as we fight, we have to be supported by those who are ahead of us. And we have to climb their shoulders to see far. So we working with those who are older, and so that they help us achieve these positions. And you see, for women empowerment, for women positions, we've given Mother Karua a chance to be the deputy president of Azimio. As a deputy president, she will now be able to help more other women who are running for also elective positions. But even at the appointive level, she will stand and defend their interests as a woman.
All right.
Yeah.
Mercy?
I think youth, the latest report by IBC goes to show that a lot more needs to be done. The taking up of space is still needed because at the end of the day, politics is about interest. And yes, we may have the numbers in terms of population.
Yes.
That adult population, we are more than the old. But when it comes to the voter register, we are less.
Do you think youths are getting a good deal politically?
I think it depends with which faction you chose. I think youth, as at where the laws are, the most guaranteed space for youth is where there is most space. Because when you look at the parliament, it is only the seats for youth are only 3. 1 in the National Assembly and then 2 in the Senate. Those are just 3 out of a house that is more than around 400 parliamentarians. You know, those are just 3 guaranteed. So the best guarantee is to ensure that you're able to give them tickets and capacity to vie for whatever position, whether it's gubernatorial, whether it is senator, whether it is MCA. And I think on our end, we have done quite well that we're able to, even a whole county, actually there's one particular county whereby the governor, the senator, the woman rep are all youth. So as youth, if youth do come out.
Which county is that?
Nanandi. So the woman rep is 27, the governor is, I think, 34, and the senator, I think, is around 29. So if youths come out and have to support, even when you look at someone at 24 years who had nothing, you know, we always talk about challenges of youth, money, etc. But really, at the end of the day, it's about put your vote. What matters is your vote. And as far as IBC register is concerned, we only have a 38% share. Yeah. Which is low to swing.
Juma, when you walk out there, you meet these people, different fora, you have, you know, barazas and what have you. Do you really think they're getting a good deal, politically speaking? Because the two of you, probably because you are in a position of, yes, we can talk to our bosses. But what about those other youth who you are persuading each and every day to vote for your various candidates? But do you think they're getting a good deal?
I belong to a coalition that is led by Baba na Mama. And where there is Baba na Mama, youths are safe. And I really want youths to rally behind this coalition so that it wins, because they have a lot in store for the youths of this country.
That sounds promising. If you leave the two out, but we just focus on the youth, do you think they're getting a good deal?
Exactly the point I'm coming to.
Yes.
You know, with the education, education is an equalizer. It levels up. And if I look at Azimio Manifesto and what it plans to do in terms of education, youths are going to be empowered. The TVETs, you see, education is going to be free right from elementary to university. And so youths are going to get education. That means they're going to get job opportunities. If you look at Azimio Manifesto, what it's planning to do in manufacturing, industrialization, youths are going to get jobs. And that's what makes them safe. If we create jobs for the youths, we empower them with education. And then health-wise, Baba Care, health is available for everyone. Then youths are safe. And then still, we're putting youths in spaces so that they determine what is best for the youths. Youths are safe under Baba na Mama.
Youths are safe under Baba na Mama. I don't know what about you.
Youths cannot be safe if this is a coalition that hoards apparently our benefits. And I will say they are hoarding our benefits because, as far as I'm concerned, the 2 co-chairs of BBI and Handshake are in power. The president and default opposition leader are now working together, and they are, you know, in the same manner they were pushing for BBI. He talks that we are of promises. You are the ones of promises, because apparently there was the promise of 4 cabinet positions, but that was only on talk, on microphone. When you read the BBI document, you don't see that. At least for us, we have a youth charter that has been signed. We have a women's charter that has been signed, that has explicitly focused, aside from the manifesto, but explicitly focused how these groups, and even PWDs, what each of these groups, how they will be dealt with, and how to improve their political participation, and also look out for their interests that seem to have been ignored because, again, the numbers are not with them. So about promises, I say they're hoarding our benefits, because when you talk about free education, this is the same government. Just recently, higher education, fees has doubled. University of Nairobi, fees has doubled. So in a state where university fees have doubled, high schools, here is the CS of Education, Honorable Magoha, saying, pleading with head teachers that do not dare increase fees. So we are at a place of increased fees. If they are promises, and I call them pretty promises because they are just a dream, because how do they say, when I come into power, why have they not done anything now? Why would a CS be telling head teachers, reduce? He should be giving us announcement that, you know what, we have X capitation, we're increasing capitation. We have been waiting. Comrades have been waiting to hear increased capitation. Comrades protested, fees must fall. I think you remember once, twice, we had very big demos, but nothing happened. The fees still doubled. And in fact, there is even right now case so that it does not become triple what it was. So we are moving at a place where the cost of living, the cost of education, the cost of everything is doubling and tripling. So I really wonder, and this is the same area we found ourselves with Jubilee Party when they came in, you know, big projects, you know, capital intensive, money intensive, you know. They are great promises indeed, great dreams, but we have to be realistic. And that is why in our manifesto, we talked about prioritization. We talked about dealing with economic recovery first. Because unless they want to tell us they're going to sink us into debt like Sri Lanka. And these are the same people who are telling us that our debt is apparently sustainable and we should find comfort in Japan. Yet Japan borrows in their currency. We borrow in dollars.
You're getting a fair share of the blame. You want
you see,
like Sri Lanka?
You see, I'm here to represent what she has called an opposition leader. And she's representing a deputy president. Deputy president who's been serving this government for the last 10 years. I think the questions she has asked are the questions she needs to ask her presidential candidate.
Why do you think we left Jubilee and formed UDA? These are the reasons, because there's difference of thought, difference of powers. That
said and done, in 2002, when Kibaki was working with Honorable Raila Odinga, when they told us that they're going to give us free education, the doubting Thomases were at it again. They said, it's not possible. Where are we going to get the money? We cannot do that. But it was done. And we are saying again, and actually free education should have come from elementary to university, should have come at around 2007, 2012. Yes. But we've said it's not lost. As Azimio, and the way Baba says, he's going to give free education, it's going to happen. This country has a lot of money. There is a lot of money in this country, but what happens is that people steal the money. And Azimio la wajibikaji, our agenda, that we're going to ensure that before you're given a chance to be in any public office, you have to be credible enough. Integrity is going to be our key point. And that's why we had to vet our running mate. You see, she's clean. The presidential candidate is clean. If you have any questionable track record, you'll not be allowed into office. And the first place you're going to start with is to ensure that the corruption scandals that have been in this country are dealt with, so that money is available. I was checking the public debt recently. We owe $67 billion that was meant for Kimwarer and Aror. Where is that money? Who stole the money? This is what we're going to start with, so that money is available to run government projects. And we have a lot of money in this country. If we lose $2 billion per day, why can't we provide free education? If we have money that we're giving to help, to give us loans. Right. If we have money that we're giving us bursaries, why can't we provide free education? It's going to be done.
Okay. Mercy is looking at you.
Hold your breath, just like CBC confusion. We are about to have junior high. You can see the confusion. Will they be in primary schools? Will they be in secondary schools? You can already tell our education system is suffering. And again, capitation. Why? This is the problem of Azimio, and that is why we say it Azimia. It Azimia kama Jubilee. The way Jubilee is going to become a shell of a party. In fact, the same Jubilee that had 172 seats, I can guarantee ODM will even get more seats than Jubilee in this campaign. But UDA will have the most seats. So number 1, 2, and 3 in that order. But these huge promises and projects, are they tenable considering the state of affairs we are in now and the state of global affairs?
You know, when you
at
talk
the
about
moment?
promises and priorities, these are two different things, because manifesto is a promise.
Yes, it's a promise, but what kind of promise? Is this something that can be done within the 5 years? Because when you look at something very ambitious and great, like the Vision 2030, it was something beyond Kibaki's
So
time.
what makes... Yeah,
But you
Kenya
look at
Kwanza,
what is realistic, because
yes.
as we give figures, we explain the how. We explain the how. We explain how this economy will recover, because this very economy, if this very economy as it is, the higher education cannot even be returned to the normal price. Help, the interest. You saw how the president even failed to sign the bill. If we were so moneyed, he should have easily signed the help bill, whereby it's interest free and they increase, you know. But what was the recommendation back to Parliament? That there is a chance this fund is going to collapse. There will be money shortage because of default of payment. Again, that is where we prioritize like in our manifesto we have the Hustler Fund. Why? We must build the MMEs, the SMEs, which right now are on their knees, and they are the ones providing.
But you all understand, Mas,
80%
that government operates in an organic manner. You know, it doesn't operate in a vacuum. Some of these processes require legislative processes, right?
Exactly.
So how will they be, you know, get implemented within a span of 1 or 2 years? Because the next and immediate thing Kenyans want to feel is some sort of a weight relief over their shoulder.
But you see, that's the thing about us. The things we are talking about, for
Yes.
example, funding. Funding is very simple, Parliament budget. So it's as simple as by June 2023, because that's when the first incoming government's budget will start running, July 2023. Then these allocations will be rightfully there. For example, the Uwezo Fund is already in existence, so it will be just rebranding. You know, and already there were the talks about, do we merge the Biashara Fund? You know, these are already things that have not yet, you know, loose ends that were not yet tied. And that's why our candidate said that the Big Four plan was interrupted.
Okay.
A lot was interrupted.
Okay.
So him being the deputy president, as he said, he understands what was the original vision between 2013 to 2022. And I'm sure he had already planned when they had said, again, promises can be broken. It was said kumi yake na kumia Ruto, which was 2022 to 2032. I'm sure he has understood how the Jubilee, if it still stayed the way it was, how it was supposed to proceed all the way up until 2032. So looking at where we are right now and the state of our economy, we have prioritized about the things that have short gain. Agriculture, it's a Ministry of Agriculture. There's no need of Parliament.
Okay.
You just need a cabinet you just need a cabinet secretary who knows what to do, knows the right executive orders and the implementation, because our biggest problem is actually not legislation. We have so much legislation. The biggest issue is always at implementation.
Okay.
And again, implementation is the issue of justice, because it's brought the issue of credibility. We have talked about, number one, you are not credible because over 1 year you have not released KEMSA. We were told 30 days. The election is coming. I would want to see if in the next 10, 20 days before election that report is made public. And also about ownership of our port, those have never been clarified. It is unverifiable whether we still own it, the port, or not. So until those things are done, I believe Kenyans should know they are not credible.
Juma,
that is a fake promise.
You're taking the heat.
But again,
You're taking the heat this cold morning, Juma.
About credibility and
Right.
integrity, we must make independent our courts. We have been told about state capture. We have been told about selective justice.
Okay.
So once we have the independence of the courts, independent funding to the DCI, EACC, so that no one can now say that, oh, I'm arrested because it's political. No. Let there be complete separation of powers. And also another thing we have talked about, that let money follow functions. And
hold on.
That means devolution to be
let
fully
Juma,
actualized.
I can see he's trying to clench his fist. Juma, you're getting a hit.
There's no hit here, because what I'm seeing is someone who is bitter like their leader, that they are so angry, and I wonder what they'll do with power.
Oh no, I've never been a Jubilee member, so I am not bitter at all.
I wouldn't go to their politics of kumi. Maybe they meant Kumi as the president and Kumi as the deputy president. That's their politics. But the thing is, you had that opportunity. You are a deputy president. You are deputizing a president for 10 years. You did nothing. Then you want to tell us you'll do it. You know, I remember when they were reading the first manifesto about laptops, recently when he was talking about Stadia. And immediately they took power, he began to campaign for presidency and left his job as a deputy president. Doing nothing, campaigns every day, rallies, chest thumping. And now that time is over, we're being given promises again. You know, a manifesto is a promise, as we said. Mm-hmm. But again, we look at the ability and the willingness to deliver on that manifesto. If you've lied to us before,
but that cuts across.
Why will we believe even Baba has been in government before. Mm-hmm. And we remember the projects they did with Kibaki.
Yes.
Thika Road was born.
Issues as well.
And so many other projects were launched. And look at the projects that the government has done between 2019 up to date, mm-hmm. after the handshake. And indeed, where there is peace, there is development. Mm. So many projects have been implemented.
Okay.
Now you take only a few minutes from the airport to Westlands. Dogogundu Road bypass in Mombasa has been completed. Mm. So many other roads have been done. If you compare what President Uhuru has been able to do during the second term and the first term, you will discover that he was actually wasted during the first term. And now he's exiting. And in our Azimio manifesto, Azimio la Wananchi, we take cognizant that sovereignty, the power belongs to the people.
Okay.
And whatever government that comes in, you know, we only change the custodians, but power doesn't shift.
Okay.
And therefore, the projects that Jubilee has been doing, we'll have to realign our priorities and agenda with what they have been doing.
Juma, allow me to align my priorities and agenda and take a break. The priority here is we take a break first of all, then we come back. And when we come back, we'll discuss matters to do with priority and promises in terms of what does your party manifesto stand for when you look directly to the youth. Today is about Matters Youth, and then we come back. You know what? We have just started, and I'm afraid we are almost coming to an end. Let's take a break. We'll be coming back shortly, all right? With Mercy and Juma.
Thank you.
We shall legalize weed.
Professor George Luchiri Wajakoya of the Roots Party.
Semeni Babakea. Babakea.
Raila Amolo Odinga of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Party.
Unajua mimi sina pesa ya serikali ama ya kashfa.
David Mwaure Wahiga of the Agano Party. And
hakuna kura ya hasla mtaiba.
William Samoei Ruto of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Presidential Debate 2022. Do not adjust your sets.
You mean pia wewe hujamuona?
Nasema unanishuku. Unanishuku tu kwa sababu gani?
Unajua Leo, mimi nishaye kumsikia Maya mara kadhaa akisema kuwa wewe na Jack mnajuana.
Siogopi bwana. Na wala hapa sijafukuzwa mimi.
Analo linalomsumbua. Ukimuuliza atakwambia. Yaani hamwezi fanya kazi kimya bila kusengenyana.
Kama huyo msichana wako amekuacha, jipange na wache kusumbua watu.
All the manifestos are talking about economy. And welcome back. Director, I wish you just showed a bit of, behind the scenes. Welcome back. This is People in Politics. Mercy and Juma in studio, youthful and energetic people in studio this cold morning. Let me come back to you, Juma, because you're almost finishing your point. Before we get to the next topic, please finish.
I was saying that we are going to realign our priorities and agenda to fit what the previous government has been doing.
Yes.
But most importantly, the cry of Kenyans right now is that the cost of living is very high. And unga is going at 200 and you look at
yes.
and the problem is global. It's not just local. But what we are going to do in Azimio, as Azimio, our agenda is first of all to lower these prices. And our focus will be on giving incentives, tax holidays, so that products prices can come down. We're looking at how we're going to ensure that we complete the deal between the Dar es Salaam Mombasa pipeline deal, so that the gas deal, so that we try and change from diesel generators to gas generators, so that at least the cost of power comes down. And you know, once the cost of power comes down, production cost also comes down, and therefore the prices of commodities. We are looking at how we're going to lower prices for every essential commodity. That's where we'll start. But in the long run, we're looking at how we're going to, we call it Azimio la Ugatuzi. We're going to increase allocation of funds to county governments, so that county governments are able to spur economic activities at the local level, at the grassroots level. And again, we're going to implement the one county, one product policy, so that every county, and that doesn't mean that once that one product is implemented within that county, then all other products are going to be stopped. So economic activities are going to be spurred in terms of manufacturing, in terms of industrialization, so that jobs are created to ensure that there is
that
food
sounds more of what's in the manifesto. But now, digging deep into that manifesto, most likely aligned to the youth, what makes Kenya Kwanza manifesto quite juicy, quite attractive, and to the youth, more specifically?
Well, we know that our labor force, and again, as I had said, the population is majority youth.
Yes.
So the workforce equally is majority youth. So when we focus on economic recovery, when we focus on the sector that creates the most jobs, we understand that of the 800,000 jobs created, at most 100,000 will be formal. So the remaining is in the informal sector. So the one that is very easy to expand is this informal sector. The one very easy to expand is if you boost the MMEs and SMEs that right now are struggling. So when we, number one, prioritize that hustler fund and bringing it to a level, because Uwezo Fund has had challenges at its constituency level, and that youth had to be in groups. So when you bring the hustler fund, and that it's, and as our party leader said, even at ward level, so and ensuring that it is as per demand, it can even be increased so as to meet the need. So ensuring funding, that there is good government support. Also this issue of, ensuring that there is consolidation of licenses, so that you just pay at once and making it affordable. So you are expanding business, there's more job creation, and then you're also expanding the tax base. And when you expand the tax base, then you can also lower the rate of taxes, because right now there's a lot of strain because you're trying to meet a target from very few people. So why not increase the taxpayers rather than what they are trying to promote?
Mercy, you were waking up at 2 a.m. and you're told, give me 3 scenarios from the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza that you will tell the youths at this particular point within 2 minutes that's quite attractive to the youth.
One, the hustler fund for their businesses. Whether you are in the informal sector, the SMEs, MMEs, or the incorporated companies. Very good. You'll be able to access funding. Number two, prioritization of agriculture, ensuring that it is revamped. This is the agriculture that has directly that has a direct GDP contribution of at minimum 25% and indirect contribution of 29%.
Thirdly,
so when you improve agriculture, you've improved the whole ecosystem of not just that sector that employs, almost 60%, especially in the rural areas, which are most counties, except 3 or 4 city counties,
yes,
then you will have touched youth and women and everyone in the whole country. Then third, we have also have a place in our manifesto for the service industry. Again, other than agriculture, what else can Kenya do? It is the service industry. That's where we have our professionals. That's where we have all the services, aviation, hospitality, tourism, entertainment, arts, sports. All those are covered in our manifesto.
Very
ICT is ETC.
Thank you so much. And Juma? When you look at Azimio manifesto. Again, 2 a.m., you're waking up and say, give me 3 scenarios where youths are covered in Azimio La Umoja manifesto.
In Azimio La Umoja manifesto, agriculture is there. Number 2, we have TVETs. We are going, in manufacturing sector, we are going to have TVETs partner with artisans, technicians, craftsmen, so that they are certified to increase their employability. And 3, we are going to devolve funds to the counties so that youth projects are taken care of. 4, we are going to do industrialization and manufacturing,
yes,
to create more jobs for them. You see, recently the Deputy President was alluding to 2 examples where he was talking about gun manufacturing and textile, the one for making clothes. But he was referring to projects that are being done by Azimio, because the gun one was being done by Jubilee government, and that means they've reduced the cost of importing those guns, and we are going to sell the guns outside the country so that we make more money to reinvest in other activities. He was talking about the cloth making, the one for Charity Ngilu. She's a member of Azimio. We are going to continue doing such so that more jobs are created for the youths of this country.
Yeah. Okay, I'm told we are coming to an end, but let me just ask you a question. Are you friends, the 2 of you? In spite of political affiliations?
Well,
we are not enemies.
Yeah, we are acquaintances because we haven't known each other long.
Yes.
But I think this time youth are indeed ambassadors of peace. And
that brings me to my last question that I wanted to ask you, because only 27 days to go, and a majority of people who are always sent to the front line whenever there's chaos, what have you, are the youth. What do you tell them?
Youths must choose peace, because as much as you will be the ones called to violence, you can instead decide to be ambassadors of peace, and peace is necessary for economy. We already had the invisible enemy dubbed COVID, and then we've had global effects, etc. So we can't afford, I'll just say we can't afford war.
All right. Juma,
we hold
10 seconds.
We hold the destiny of this nation in our hands as youths. We will either choose to throw it away in this election or to mold it. And that means that we have to be peaceful even as we campaign. Youths should not accept to be used by anyone for wrong reasons.
Thank you. Yeah. We'll be continuing this discussion sometimes next week if you allow me to call you back again, but that has been focused on youth and manifesto as far as this year's election is concerned. I've been talking to Mutana, who is UDA Youth Congress, as well as Juma Muricho, ODM Youth leader affiliated to Azimio La Umoja. That does it for now. We're taking a break, but when we come back, we'll be crossing over to Radio Taifa. That is where we have Rashid Mwamkondo and Mwajuma Chozi having that discussion with Honorable Dr. Alfred Mutua, who is also the party leader of Maendeleo Chap Chap. That is coming shortly after this break. Good morning.